Let me get some numbers on Hawk Hill first. Beautiful day in the Bay for some Summer League baseball. The SLO Blues and the Menlo Park Legends playing somewhat of an abbreviated series as it is week 2 of CCL play here in Northern California. Hello everyone and welcome inside our broadcast booth at College of San Mateo. My name is Nate Mills on the call tonight for the SLO Blues Streaming Network, getting you set for Game 4 between the Menlo Park Legends and the San Luis Obispo Blues. Making his start today is Hawk Hill with his .270 earned run average against Menlo Park. Looked pretty good against the Sonoma Stompers, and he makes his return to the mound, this time starting for the San Luis Obispo Blues. There's a couple of new faces that I saw on the bus on the way up to Northern California. Andrew Raymond, an infielder from Cal State Fullerton, will be making his Blues debut, I'd imagine, sometime this week. And the catcher from Northwestern University, Charlie Caruso, also arrived and shook hands with everyone on the SLO Blues roster. So excited to see what those two have in store for the Blues coming down the stretch. For now, it's Nico Button that will be starting at catcher today for San Luis Obispo. Blues trying to snag this series against the Menlo Park Legends. This would be a big series W for them. With the Alameda Anchors playing the way that they are, it's every win matters. Every game counts in the CCL North. This is no exception. You're at a beautiful ballpark here. You're away from Sinsheimer in what is the longest road trip in what I can recollect in my 3 years calling on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. A 4-day Northern California trip. You start off with Menlo Park today, and then tomorrow you go to San Bruno Park and play against the San Francisco Seagulls for the first time this season, who, by the way, that's a pretty solid team as well. And then you got a pair of games against the Walnut Creek Crawdads in the East Bay. Always a talented roster there. So this is going to be a challenging series for San Luis Obispo. And as Ryan and I usually say, the CCL this year is full of teams that you can never really take your eye off of. It's going to be a challenge every single day. And we know the Blues just came off a 3-game series against the Menlo Park Legends, and they gave them some trouble in Game 1 on that Friday, a firework night in which the Blues lost Game 1 against Menlo Park. That was a 5-1 L. They were only able to scratch across one run. They also paired that with 15 strikeouts as well. But they are able to come back well on Saturday with their 7-4 victory against the Menlo Park Legends. A real nice bounce back after the way they performed offensively the night before. And then they capped it off on Sunday with an electric walk-off single from Gavin Smith coming off the bench, who will start this afternoon for San Luis Obispo. And I think there's one thing that the Blues need to get straight offensively. They need to straighten out what bats are going to show up on what day. Blues are looking for one word: consistency this summer, and I think that starts on offense, because I feel like the pitching is pretty well established on this roster, and that's not something you see often in summer baseball teams. So it's something rare that the Blues have going, and it's something that they need to cling on to and use to their strength. Hawk Hill hoping to push that narrative again today against the Menlo Park Legends. So for the Blues, it's all about keeping the bats consistent. If you can come out of this road trip 2-2, I would say that's a solid victory for San Luis Obispo. Just finish at 500, but in those 2 wins, 2 losses, I would like to see the Blues get beat if they were to lose. Not have them beat themselves, but them get beat by another team. Because in their losses this season, in their 3 losses, we have yet to see the Blues get outpowered by the opposing team. It always seems to be they get in their own way, whether it be strikeouts or committing errors. The Blues haven't been straight up beaten by a team yet this season. So the Blues, I think, need to take control of their own destiny, get the sticks going, and keep the pitching hot. Now, that's another thing, too, that you think about, too, with a summer ball team like San Luis Obispo. How long are these pitchers going to stay? Now, we're aware that there are going to be some late additions to this roster, like Logan Groff, who's coming back later this summer. He'll be a nice reinforcement for this Blues staff. There's some question marks with Jackson Howell. He threw a bullpen today. He's up here in San Mateo as well. We don't know what his availability looks like. He was wearing shorts and throwing a bullpen, so we don't know what he's going to look like. We do have some other bullpen arms here as well, but in 4 days, that's the test for Dean Traynor. How are you going to manage those arms? Because it's one thing to be a college team or a professional team or a major league team, and you have all these arms at your disposal. Here in summer baseball, you're not going to have that all that often. So very curious to see how the pitching looks, something that has been a strong suit for the Blues this season. 2 main keys: pitching stays strong, Bats stay consistent, and they're looking good. I think they will at least finish 500 in this series. But for now, it's game one of a 4-game road trip, and it starts off with the Menlo Park Legends. The Blues look to seal the series instead of walking away with a tie with Menlo Park. That'll do it from the Ancient Owl pregame show. Thank you all so much for watching here from College of San Mateo, and thank you to all those watching at Ancient Owl Brewery right now, listening to this pregame show. Thank you for the contributions and your sponsorship of the San Luis Obispo Blues. It is greatly appreciated. All right, we're going to send it back to the field, and we'll be back after this on the SLO Blues Streaming Network.
Took a flight across the country. I took the way she told her to keep the one time. Hit the store to get some backwoods and left the waist running. Looking like they blind, but we already on it. On the love for Celine, like that bag that she want. A lot of teams, busting up and game, make you want it. Make you want to spin a 50, hit the same with a donut. Whole team full of queens, gotta keep their eyes on queens. Snake in the sky, finally want to slide on. Slide, bet they ride on them when I put that 5 on them. Two bad, they don't got 5 on them. No masterpiece. 10 bad, then they after me. One bad, like a masterpiece. Looking for a drop like an athlete. Big drip, what you call it? I can't feel water. You got the camera, can't afford it. You got the bad, can't afford it. Two-step. got the rock. I gave a good, that's why hard to stop. Gonna make it hard to drop. She got a G5 body. She know how to ride that stick like a ride. Seen her walk around in the back like a Hummer. Dropped out of school, took it back to go dumb. Was it fast?
I'm here from yesterday. You remember me? Okay, first base, Paul. Remedios, R-E-M-E-D-I-O-S. Plate is Steve. Leary, L-E-A-R-Y. And then Tyson. Tyson, how do you spell your last name again? What's your last name again? Mine? Yeah. Rafferty, sorry. R-A-F-F-E-R-T-Y. All right, thanks. I drew a blank for a second.
Yes, sir. We are ready to go here from College of San Mateo in the Bay Area. The San Luis Obispo Blues and the Menlo Park Legends getting set here on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Finishing up an abbreviated 4-game series between the two. First 3 went the San Luis Obispo Blues ways, a 2-1 victory over last weekend. Then after a 2-day break, they're now back here in the Bay to play against the Legends. Leading off for the Blues, it's the center fielder E.J. Royal. Sam Ardois is batting second and playing third, with the shortstop Kate O'Hara batting third. Mason Ashlock, the left fielder, cleans it up in the 4-hole. Don Jordan plays right field and will bat fifth. Gavin Smith, the walk-off hero from Sunday, DHs and bats sixth, with Brendan Comerford playing first base and batting seventh. Nico Button, the catcher and the only left-handed hitter in today's lineup, batting eighth, and Gavin Constantine, today's second baseman, rounding it out in the 9th spot. Blues are due up to face Ray Hernandez, a right-handed pitcher from Temecula, California, and from the Utah Valley Wolverines. And if you're thinking, is that the same Utah Valley that made it to a regional this year? You'd be exactly right. They went to the Eugene Regional and fell to the Arizona Wildcats, who are now going to the College World Series. In that game against Arizona, the elimination game, Hernandez went in, pitched in 2 1/3 innings, allowed 2 earned runs, and threw 2 strikeouts with 1 walk. That's the last outing he had with Utah Valley. for the rest of that season, a 4.09 ERA and 22 innings pitched. 10 earned runs, 15 strikeouts, and 6 walks. And he stands here in the windup against E.J. Royal, leading it off today. First pitch to Royal is a called strike at 5:04 p.m. First pitch temperature 64 degrees and sunny here in the Bay Area. The 0-1. Royal spits on a slider, missing outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. EJ this past weekend has seen his fair share of struggles at the plate, trying to turn that around quickly. Not often you see Royal go in slumps like these. Here's the 1-1. Royal puts it on the ground right side. Anderson gobbles it up and will tap first base himself. Unassisted put out by the first baseman Will Anderson, and there's 1 gone in the first inning. So here's Sam Ardois, shortstop from University of Louisiana, has since entered the transfer portal. This will be the second time that Ardois will be in the portal in his college season. First year, he played at the University of Texas. Didn't get any playing time there, so he hit the portal, went back to his home state, Louisiana, where he's now in the portal again. First pitch misses inside for a ball. A slider from Ray Hernandez. Now Hernandez, a fastball, slider, changeup, knuckleball mix. So interesting to see if we see that knuckleball at all today. From the windup, here's the 1-0 to Ardois. Ardois hits it hard up the middle. Second baseman dives, but he won't have a play. Base hit for Sam Ardois, and he's seeing it well. There goes the no-hitter for Ray Hernandez, and a runner on base for the Blues in the first inning.
Now it's a bat, Cade O'Hara.
Ardois has just seen it so well. He's coming off a spectacular game against the Legends on Sunday. A double, or he had a single, a home run, 2 singles at that. I haven't seen this production from him at any point in his college career, and it's fun to see him blossom here. Now with a runner on first, it's Cade O'Hara and 1 gone. Ray Hernandez now working from the stretch. Here's the pitch. O'Hara swings at a slider. He pops it high into center field. Schmalz gets underneath it, makes the one-handed grab for the second out of the inning. O'Hara retired on 1 pitch, and it's the second out of the frame.
Ashlock.
So now here's Mason Ashlock, the cleanup hitter, playing left field today. Last game against the Menlo Park Legends, he hit a laser of an RBI single back up the middle in the 10th. That tied the game at 10. And then, of course, it was Gavin Smith who sent everyone home with a 5-5 whole base hit. Ardois still at first with an average lead. They pick over to first. He's back in plenty of time. Mason Ashlock still waiting for his first pitch of the at-bat. Ashlock this summer with a 444 on base, a 375 batting average, and a 438 slugging in conference play. Here's the first pitch to him, and Ashlock takes a fastball in the other half for strike 1. Mason coming off a good season at Weatherford College. Currently uncommitted, a corner outfielder with some serious juice. Ardois with his gray oven mitt on his right hand, dangles his fingers on his left. As our Ashlock puts it in play on the right side, second baseman Rabago throws it over to first in time, and the side is retired. So a base hit from Sam Ardois, but nothing to show for it. Scoreless heading to the bottom half of the inning on the SLO Blue Streaming Network. Bottom of the first inning, Blues go quietly in the top half of the frame against Ray Anderson despite a Sam Ardois base hit up the middle. Here's the starting lineup for the Menlo Park Legends. Leading it off, it's Quincy Villa. He plays left field with TJ Schmalls playing center field and batting second. Will Robbins is the DH batting third. Will Anderson, the first baseman, bats fourth, with the third baseman Dane Most batting fifth. Austin Rabago bats sixth and plays second base. Blake Cowens bats seventh and catches today. James Bose is a shortstop batting eighth, and Isaiah Landry rounds it out in the 9 spot as the right fielder. The defensive alignment for the SLO Blues: Nico Butt behind home plate with Comerford at first, Constantine at second base, Sam Ardois manning the hot corner, Cade O'Hara at shortstop with Mason Ashlock in left, Royal in center, and Don Jordan in right. Gavin Smith DHing today, and on the mound for the Blues, it's the right-hander, formerly from Sonoma State University, Hawk Hill. And Hawk Hill was on against the Sonoma Stompers. That fastball was working well, coupled with the curveball. He got a lot of hitters to chase with that pitch. Be curious to see if it's on again today. So here's Quincy Villa, who batted ninth in all 3 games against the Blues this past weekend at Sinsheimer Stadium. And here he is from the first pitch from Hawk Hill. It's a fastball in there for a strike. Hawk Hill starts off on the right foot against Quincy Villa. Villa's got some serious speed. He had an RBI single in last game as well. That pitch misses inside. A ball and a strike to Quincy Villa. And the game before that, also had a single late in the 7th inning. Also had an extra base hit in game 1 in the 4th. That was a double, 1-1. And Villa hits a number to third. Ardois has got it, throws it over to first in plenty of time, and there's the first out of the inning. Weak ground out to Sam Ardois at third base. There's one gone to get things going in the bottom half of the frame. And that's what Hawk Hill wants to do. He wants to induce that soft contact to these Menlo Park hitters, because we know, based on how they performed at their colleges this past spring or within the past 2 springs at their school or high school, these guys can hit. And especially if you look at the dimensions here at College of San Mateo, 319 to both corners. Here's a curveball in there for a strike against TJ Smalls, the center fielder batting second. That's the first thing you notice after the incredible view here at College of San Mateo. You can see the bay walking down from the hill. 0-1. Smalls puts it in play on the left side. Ardois fields it off his hip, throws it over to first in time. 2 quick outs here for Hawk Hill in the first inning. And 2 quick ground balls to Sam Ardois, getting a lot of reps over there at the hot corner. We usually see Ardois playing up in the middle infield, typically at shortstop. But today, a new look for him at third. The standard third baseman Gavin Smith DHing today after his clutch moment on Sunday, coming off the bench and getting an RBI single to beat the Legends. First pitch is popped up, playable for the second baseman Constantine, who camps under it and makes the one-handed squeeze. The side is retired. Quick 1-2-3 inning for Hawk Hill as we head into the second inning scoreless on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the second inning from the College of San Mateo, a scoreless ball game between the SLO Blues and the Menlo Park Legends, an abbreviated 4-game set, and this is the final game of that series. Here's the former Texas Longhorn, Don Jordan, digging in. He leads off this frame. It's 5-6-7 for San Luis Obispo against Ray Hernandez. Jordan's first pitch, he pops it up and out of play on the slider for strike 1. Don playing right field today, batting 5th. Gavin Smith DHing, batting 6th right after him. Then it's Brendan Comerford, the first baseman, bats 7th. Hernandez stands with a wide opening in the windup. He cradles his mitt on the 0-1, and Jordan gets hit on the forearm. Cradling that left forearm as he squeezes his hands to try to get feeling back in it. That one sounded like it hurt. It was a solid thud on the forearm of Don Jordan. And we've talked about it before. Jordan injured a hamate bone in the fall this past season with Texas. That sidelined him for the rest of that time. And when he felt healthy enough to play in the spring, had a rib injury. So just one thing after another for Don Jordan. So anytime you get a moment like this, it's scary. And for Don, he seems pretty comfortable in that batter's box, though. He's still able to cradle it up on the chalk on the inner half of home plate and get into situations like this. Doesn't seem too phased. He's showing teeth over at first with his smile to first base coach Carlos Garcia. As Gavin Smith steps back in for the first time after sending the Blues home happy on Sunday. No outs in the top of the second inning. It's the Harvard Crimson man standing upright in the right-handed batter's box. With a runner on first, here's the first pitch. Smith watches the fastball for a called strike. In the early going, Gavin Smith, a 111 batting average in conference play. 1 for his last 9 in CCL action. The 0-1. Smith hits a curveball on the left side. Third baseman Most backhands it over to second for 1. On to first. The throw is high. It gets away from Anderson as Smith will stay on first base. So they can't turn the double play, and Gavin is over at first.
Now up to bat.
Jordan will head back into the dugout and take a look at that forearm. Will go down as a fielder's choice. And Smith is over at first base. So now 1 out and a runner on first. This time it's a different runner. So here's Brendan Comerford, who drilled a 402-foot home run to dead center last game at Sinsheimer. Comerford takes a breaking ball on the other half for a strike. I talked with Comerford yesterday. And you'll see this moment on our podcast, The Orange Row, which will come out later this week with Ryan and I. We asked him what his favorite moment of the summer was. So far, it was that homer. I don't blame him. Runner on first, here's the 0-1. Comerford hits this off the hands, high and out of play off to the right. No balls and 2 strikes to Brendan Comerford, who's not too far from his hometown of Pleasanton on the East Bay. Also able to reunite with a coach from Ohlone College, where Comerford just graduated from with his associates. Headed to Gonzaga in the fall to play for the Bulldogs. Smith with an average lead at first. Comerford hits it hard into left field. Going back is Via. He's at the fence and makes the grab with the heels on the wall. Brendan Comerford just got underneath that fastball as he smiles and claps his hands in frustration, heading back to the dugout. He high-fives the right-hander Ray Hernandez because Hernandez is also a graduate of Ohlone College in the East Bay. Some familiar faces here. The Ohlone College's connection is real with the Menlo Park Legends. It makes sense. So now there's 2 outs, a runner at first. It's Gavin Smith at first base, and Nico Button calls time as he adjusts his elbow guard on his right arm. Button also making his return to the Bay, a former Golden Bear from California, Berkeley, now entering the transfer portal for a graduate season. He stands with an open stance in the left-handed batter's box as they pick over to first, a close play, but Gavin Smith is back in plenty of time. Another pick over to first base, and Smith is there in plenty of time. Button, a significant decrease in playing time this season. Played in 5 games as they picked to first again. He's safe once more, as opposed to the 19 he played in his past 2 years at California. In 2024, slugged .428 with 2 doubles and a home run in his 15 hits. They picked to first again, and Constantine again, or check that, Smith is back in plenty of time once more. And just 5 games this past season at Cal. Only 6 at-bats, no hits. Only 2 strikeouts, though, as the first pitch to Button is a bouncing ball in front of the Menlo Park dugout for strike one. Nico making his return to the Blues this summer as well. .236 average last season, .344 on base percentage, 4 doubles in his 13 hits with the Blues in 2024. Here's the 0-1. Button leaves a fastball high, evens it up at a ball and a strike. It's Button, and then Gavin Constantine stands on deck. A second baseman who recorded the final putout in the bottom half of the first inning. We're here in the top of the second, scoreless, with a runner on first base. Smith takes off towards second, but Button puts a charge into this to center field. Schmalz is going back. He's at the wall and makes a diving grab on the warning track. Spectacular grab from Schmalz in center, and it ends the inning. Gavin Smith stranded on first base. Button got all of that baseball, hit it to the deepest part of the park, and the center fielder Schmalz made a spectacular grab to retire the side. Still scoreless, heading to the bottom half of the second on the SLO Blues streaming network. Defensive replacements in the bottom half of the second inning. Don Jordan will exit this game following the hit by pitch on his forearm. Hopefully it's some precautionary actions here. Would really hate to see Don Jordan go down with an injury this early on in the summer. He was able to walk off okay, was holding that left forearm, but I think he is now out of this game. He's getting checked out right now. So Brady Alves will come into this ball game and play right field. Will Anderson leads off for the Menlo Park Legends in the bottom half of the second. Hawk Hill misses with a slider on the outside for ball one. Anderson, Dane Most, and Austin Rabago, the middle of the order, due up for Menlo Park. Scoreless ball game, Hawk Hill back out there. Here's the 1-0 to Anderson. Curveball this time in there for a strike. The Blues are able to maintain Anderson, able to minimize the damage he had against San Luis Obispo, with the exception of the Sunday game where he had a 3 RBI double and 2 singles. Swings and misses through Hawk Hill's fastball here for strike 2. Other than that, just one other hit on the weekend. And Ryan and I in the broadcast booth were rather surprised based on the production Will Anderson had this past season at Ohlone, as a four-seamer misses high and outside for ball 2. And hats off to that pitching staff for San Luis Obispo for holding down the lefty first baseman the way that he did. 800 slugging this past season at Ohlone College. That's just ridiculous. 2-2. Anderson checked his swing. They say he went around for strike 3. Will Anderson goes down swinging for the first out of the inning, and there's one gone. Anderson doesn't like it one bit. The first strikeout of the day for Hawk Hill, as Dane Most digs in now with one out. Most playing third, batting fifth today for the Legends. First pitch, and it's a fastball in the lower half for a strike. Most started in Sunday's game and was later replaced by Carter Bleeker against the Blues. 1 for 3 with a single and a walk. Most hits it off the hands and on top of the Legends dugout for strike 2. Something that Hawk Hill has done a pretty good job of, especially when he went out there against the Stompers and now here with the Legends, getting ahead in the count early. The 0-2. Slider swung on and missed. Hawk Hill's stuff is on. Second strikeout of the inning. There's 2 gone. Back-to-back Ks for Hawk Hill as it brings up Austin Rabago, second baseman, batting 6th, and one of the 2 left-handed batters in today's lineup. Rabago takes a pitch high for ball 1. He got brief action on Sunday's game against the Blues, just 1 AB, reached on error from the third baseman Cuccia, and that's it. And he got yanked. Pitch missing inside, 2-0. Was later replaced by Gavin Shaddix, who made an error later. Before that, Rabago had a hitless day on Saturday and a hitless day on Friday in the series. Here's the 2-0. And Rabago spits on a slider that hits the inner half for strike 1. A 2-0 count, not necessarily a pitch you're looking for. A slider low and in, you'll take that one all day. Still up in the count, Rabago is, as Hawk Hill comes through in the windup. Fastball missing outside. 3 balls and a strike now to Austin Rabago. Rabago looking for his first hit in conference play. The 3-1. Puts this one to the play. Up the middle, the shortstop can't handle it. Cade O'Hara slid it to his left side, but reaching on the infield base hit is Austin Rabago, his first knock of the summer. First base hit of the day, too, for the Menlo Park Legends. Keeps inning alive in the second inning.
Now it's the bat.
2 outs for Blake Cowens. Switch hitter batting right-handed with 1 out and a runner on first base. And Cowens terrorized the Blues on Sunday's game. First pitch, a fastball outside, ball 1. Cowens went 3 of 4 after replacing Ryan Cartwright in the 5th inning. An RBI single, another single, a fly out to left, and then a 3rd single in the 9th inning. 1-0. Hits it hard over Constantine's head. He got elevation but couldn't make the play. Rounding second and heading to third is Rabago. The throw comes into the infield. Back-to-back base hits for the Menlo Park Legends. Puts runners at the corners with 2 outs.
Now it's the bat, James Bowes.
And Constantine with a great effort over at second base. He timed it up perfectly, got lots of elevation that time for his smaller frame, and it just tipped his glove into right field. Not much you can do there for James Bowes, who now steps in with the go-ahead run 90 feet away. Scoreless ball game in the bottom half of the second. There are 2 outs, back-to-back Ks to begin the frame from Hawk Hill. Now it's Bowes who bats 8th. James leaves the pitch inside for ball 1. Bowes started in Sunday's game against the Blues. Went 1 of 6 with a single in the first. Couple of Ks to end his day. The 1-0. Bowes puts it in play on the right side through the 4-hole, base hit. That'll score a run for the Legends. Menlo Park strikes first. 3 hits in a row. 1-0 ball game in the bottom half of the second inning.
Up to bat, Isaiah Landry.
And Hawk Hill was cruising through these batters, retiring 5 in a row, made quick work in the first inning, came into the second and got 2 quick strikeouts, and then immediately giving up 3 singles in a row. All coming through the bottom of the order. That's something that the Legends have working for them as well. Their bottom half of the lineup seems to come through more than the top half. First pitch to Isaiah Landry is taken all the way for strike 1. So Cowens scored. I'm going to check that. Rabago scored. Cowens is on second base with James Bowes on first. Now it's Isaiah Landry, the typical leadoff man for the Legends, batting 9th today. A peek at second. Now double time and coming home. This one sent in the air to right field. Should be playable for Alves, who just checked into this game, and he makes the grab backpedaling for the third out. But not before an RBI base hit from James Bowes puts the Legends ahead into the third inning we go. 1-0 Menlo Park on the SLO Blues streaming network. Legends strike first in the bottom half of the second inning. An RBI base hit coming off the bat of James Bowes puts Menlo Park ahead 1-0. Now we're in the top half of the third, and I want to remind you it's never too early to purchase tickets for our signature fireworks game on July 3rd. Celebrate the Stars and Stripes and watch the Blues play under the lights at our biggest game of the year. Get your seats now at bluesbaseball.com. Gavin Constantine leads off and takes a first pitch strike on the inner half. Constantine getting his first AB today against Ray Hernandez, the righty from Utah Valley. Pitch missing outside, count even at ball and a strike. And Constantine came in late in Sunday's game against the Legends where the Blues walked it off. Went 0 for 2, reached on a fielder's choice and stole a bag, and also put down a sacrifice bunt in the ninth. 1-1. Constantine hits a slider straight back into the screen for strike 2. Gavin, today's second baseman, Bonnie from St. Bonaventure University, which if that's familiar, it should be. That's where Adrian Rojanowski went to be the athletic director after being the lead beat reporter for ESPN for the NBA. The 1-2. Constantine swings on the fastball and pops it up and out of play on the right side. We'll do it again at a ball and 2 strikes. 9-1-2 due up in this inning for San Luis Obispo, Constantine, Royal, and Ardois. Hernandez from the windup in his evergreen glove. The 1-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Passive swing from Gavin Constantine. He goes down swinging for the first out of the inning. First strikeout of the day for the Blues offense. And there's one gone in the third. Flip it back up top to E.J. Royal. Royal took a fastball the opposite way to the first baseman Anderson, who touched first base by himself the last time EJ was up. Royal, as I said in his first AB, has been struggling this past weekend, trying to get back on the right track. First pitch, and Royal watches the slider in there for a strike. Might have been too low. Call could have gone either way, but it's strike 1 to EJ Royal nonetheless, who is one of the 20 players on this Blues roster to hit the transfer portal this offseason. The 0-1. Royal gets a fastball and fouls it off to the right out of play for strike 2. 20 on this Blues roster, 5,000 and counting in the country in the NCAA transfer portal. A lot of competition out there. Royal trying to separate himself from the rest. 0-2. EJ gets a curveball and he fouls it up and out of play once again. Do it again at no balls and 2 strikes. The Blues this summer have been put on some fields with some interesting terrain. Sinsheimer back at home has got its fair share of bumps. Arnold Field in Sonoma as well. Pure turf here at San Mateo. Curveball missing inside, not by much, and Royal leaves it. A ball and 2 strikes now to EJ. Royal wearing number 50 in the Blues navy tops and gray bottoms. A 5-0 coming from Mookie Betts, his favorite baseball player. Royal's favorite player despite being a Giants fan. 1-2. EJ leaves the fastball outside, evens it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Always thought that was interesting, how you can be a fan of a San Francisco Giants and then also like Mookie Betts. A very likable player, but I feel like that's a cardinal sin. A couple of NL West rivals, one of the older rivalries in Major League Baseball. Royal here in the Bay Area on the 2-2. Fastball spoiled off to the right. A great at bat from EJ here to stay alive with 2 strikes against Ray Hernandez. And Hernandez is kind of just throwing the whole kitchen sink. Surprised we haven't seen the knuckleball yet. We saw Hernandez warm up with that pitch before this frame and the inning before that. Have yet to sit in the game. From the windup, here's the 2-2. And Royal checks his swing, but didn't go around. Pitch misses inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. A changeup that time from Ray Hernandez. One of the harder pitches to throw in baseball. Hernandez, a right-handed pitcher. Royal, a right-handed hitter. Right on right changeup is close to impossible. Payoff misses high, and Royal gets the leadoff walk. 8-pitch walk for EJ. Royal gets things going in the 3rd inning, and that's the kind of at-bat you want from your leadoff man. First walk of the day for the Blues offense.
Now to bat, Sam Ardoin.
So here's Ardois, who recorded the first Blues base hit of the afternoon, the first and only so far. A slap single the opposite way. Wearing the high water pants with an oven mitt in his back right pocket. Runner on first and 1 out. Ardois leaves the fastball high, snap back throw to first, Royal back in plenty of time. Ardois from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Came to the Central Coast for the first time last summer to play for the Blues after a season at Texas that didn't go exactly to plan. Utilized a redshirt season, found a home at the University of Louisiana Lafayette. As Royal takes off to second base, Ardois puts it in play. Backhanded by the second baseman Rabago, they go to first. The tag is not applied to Sam Ardois. The first baseman, Will Anderson, missed the tag on the third baseman who was booking it down first. So they didn't get the force out at second base, and they missed the tag at first base to Sam Ardois. And Will Anderson's patience is running thin after striking out swinging on a 50-50 check swing call. That didn't go his way. It's now a swipe tag that they're saying he missed as well. First base umpire Paul Remedios and the home plate umpire Steve Leary share a chat about it. Now Tyson Rafferty comes in and joins the conversation. As we all know, Nick Sanzari likes to have a chat with the umpires whenever he can. He got involved that time, and after a review, the call remains. Safe at first base, runners on first and second, and now Cade O'Hara digs in. So they'll call it an error by the second baseman, Rabago. Runners on first and second. O'Hara sends the first pitch straight back for strike 1. Cade flew out to center field the last time he was up in what was an incredible grab by Schmalz in center. Deepest part of the park, full extension in the gap. I checked, that was Nico Button in the second, but still. O'Hara hits a dribbler to the third baseman, Most, who fields it. Foul territory for strike 2.
Yeah, I understand, guys. That's good. That's enough.
The Legends sharing some words with the home plate umpire and Steve Leary following that swipe tag at first base, a call that didn't quite go their way. O'Hara with the high pants, a gold undershirt, and the navy blue tops with the silver lettering. Ardois at first, Royal at second. O'Hara in an 0-2. Here's the pitch. Fastball high and outside. Collins almost comes out of his squat to get there. A ball and 2 strikes. Mason Ashlock stands on deck. Couple of hits in Sunday's game against the Legends. Both drove in runs. The 1-2. O'Hara takes it for strike 3. Slider on the outer half. It was perfectly placed from Ray Hernandez. That's the second strikeout of the day for Ray.
Now up to bat, Mason Ashlock.
So here's Mason Ashlock now with 2 outs. Chance to at least bring in the tying run, who's over at second base. Go ahead run at first and Sam Ardois. And Ashlock, who has an up the middle of the field approach, trying to square something up here with 2 outs. First pitch, he was trying to do that as he foul tips it right off the mid of Cowens behind home plate for strike 1. Ashlock from Weatherford College and before that Temple College in the Lone Star State of Texas. Uncommitted outfielder. Pitch is drilled into center field. Schmalz charging in. It falls fast and it falls in for a base hit. Throw comes into home. It's cut off at the mound. An RBI single for Mason Ashlock ties the game. Ashlock continues to be clutch early on in this summer. 1-1 in the top of the 3rd inning. Second base hit of the day for the Blues comes from the 4-hole Mason Ashlock, who does his job description, cleaning up the base paths. So it scores Royal from second base. That walk coming back to haunt the Legends, and it moves Sam Ardois up at second. So now here's Brady Alves, who replaced Don Jordan after he got hit in the forearm by a pitch. First pitch to Alves is a called strike on the outer half. Alves from Butte Community College, a 3-sport athlete in high school. Point guard in basketball, cornerback, wide receiver, and quarterback in football. Ardois takes off towards third base, but it's a foul ball off to the right. Ardois will have to retreat back to the bag. 0-2 to Brady Alves. We have yet to see Alves play in right field in any other game this season, typically a third baseman left fielder. But with the injury of Don Jordan, they want to keep Ashlock in left, and so they just stuck Alves in right field. Runners on first and second. Ardois at second, Ashlock at first. 2 peaks, now the 0-2. Gets a fastball center cut, but it's popped up and out of play off to the right. Beautiful scenes here at College of San Mateo in the Bay Area. My first time visiting. In a very modern campus. You can clearly see a modern field, turf surface. And football training camp getting underway. These foul balls are landing right on the goal line. A look at second. Now the 0-2. And Alves sends it in the air off to the right, but foul over the batting cages out of play. Good fight here from Brady Alves with 2 outs and runners on first and second. I kind of said it before, but when you're walking into the field, you can see all of proper San Francisco in the entire bay, with Carl the Fog creeping its fingers throughout the streets. Always loved that look, even as a SoCal kid. 0-2. Alves chops a sweeper, but it's fouled at home plate. Another life for Brady Alves. Good fight fueled by Firestone Grill last night. Enjoyed a tri-tip sandwich at Firestone with family. Tapping into his dairy farm roots, enjoying some tri-tip sandwiches. Again on the 0-2. Alves gets a fastball blown by him for strike 3. Blues strand 2 runner on, but get a hit, an RBI base hit from Mason Ashlock and tie the game at 1 apiece. 1-1, heading to the bottom half of the 3rd inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom half of the third is brought to you by SLO County Golf. They offer 3 courses in SLO, Morro Bay, and Atascadero. They also offer a unique combination of beautiful scenery and affordable prices. Book your next tee time at slowcountygolf.com. Quincy Villa leads it off in the bottom of the third inning in what is now a tie ball game. Mason Ashlock comes through clutch again with an RBI single right back up the middle, scoring E.J. Royal from second base. 1-0 is another pitch down the middle from Hawk Hill for a strike. 1-1 to Villa, who led off the bottom of the first inning with a ground ball to Sam Ardois at third. Breaking pitch missing downstairs. 2 balls and a strike to Quincy Villa. It's Villa, Schmalz, and Robbins due up in the home half of the frame. 2-1. Fastball taken for strike 2. Hawk Hill gets a call on a nice frame from Nico Button behind home plate. There's the DC native and a 2-2 count. From the windup, here's Hill. Curveball off the hands and shot through the 4-hole for a base hit. Leadoff single for Quincy Villa, the 4th knock of the day for the Menlo Park Legends. And Menlo Park has been wearing out that 4-hole so far in this game. We're still early on, just starting the bottom half of the third inning, but hitters just punching it the opposite way. We saw Bose do it, we saw Cowens do it, and now Quincy Villa doing it to lead off the third inning. So now here's TJ Schmalz, who made a spectacular grab in center field to retire the second inning. Schmalz is an outfielder from Fairfield University out in Connecticut. He's played in 2 seasons with the Stags after growing up in Pennsylvania. First pitch bounces on home plate, and Button does a nice job keeping it in front. 1 ball, no strikes. This past season with the Stags, a .280 batting average, 54 hits, starting in 57 games, 8 home runs and 13 doubles with a triple. This kid can certainly bang it around the yard, especially with the dimensions here at Mateo. I'm sure he'd love to do so. Misses a pitch here as it's popped high in the air to left. Ashlock charges it, but is called off by Royal in center field. First out of the third inning as a pop fly out from TJ Schmalz. There's still a runner on first. That's the go-ahead run for the Legends as Will Robbins steps up to the dish. Robbins popped out to the second baseman Constantine to end the first inning. A quick 1-2-3 from Hawk Hill, which went the exact opposite way in the second. He started off well with 2 Ks as the pitch misses outside for a ball. Then 3 base hits in a row brought across the first Menlo Park run of the afternoon. Ended those 3 hits with a fly out to right and Brady Alves, who recently checked into the game. Now this frame starts off with a Quincy Villa single. He's over at first base. And Will Robbins sitting in a 1-0 count against Hill. Fastball right down the middle, but it's hit hard into center field. Playable for E.J. Royal, who circles it and makes the one-handed squeeze for the second out of the inning. 2 fly ball outs to the center fielder E.J. Royal, and that brings up Will Anderson.
Now up to bat,
and check
Will
that.
Anderson.
Oh yeah, Dane Most was grabbing the bat. I was confused there for a second. It will be Will Anderson. Dane Most is on deck. Last time Anderson was up, he struck out to lead off the second inning. But as we know, based on his numbers at Ohlone College, he is as deadly as any hitter you will see. Runner takes off to second base. Button picks it in the dirt. The throw is slightly offline, but a nice pick by O'Hara keeps it in the infield. A stolen bag for Quincy Villa puts the leading run in scoring position for the Legends. Makes Anderson's job that much easier. He cashed in 69 runs this past season in 43 games. Time is called at home plate as Anderson readjusts his elbow guard. 111 career RBIs with the Renegades at Ohlone. Numbers good enough to land him a commitment to Santa Clara University, not too far from College of San Mateo here in the Bay Area. Runner at second, now the 1-0. Anderson watches a sweeper missing outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Will finished as the 3C 2A 2025 batting champion. .455 batting average this past season in the North Conference. The 3C 2A is the conference which represents all of California's community college baseball teams. So essentially led the state. Anderson watches a fastball low and inside, 3 balls and no strikes to Will. I'd imagine Hawk wouldn't want to come into the big, strong left-hander swing here. He's got Dane Most on deck, who Hawk also struck out in the second inning. Quincy Villa creeps off second base. As Hill, with a long pause as he checks second, comes home. A pitch down the middle, and Anderson takes it for strike one. Anderson not only finished first in the state in average, but also RBI, extra base hits, and finished in NorCal in hits, doubles, slugging, and total bases. 3-1. Anderson puts a charge into this one and sends it into the right field for a base hit. Green light for Quincy Villa at third, and he will score safely. Anderson charges into second, feet first slide, and he's in there safely. RBI double for Will Anderson puts the Menlo Park Legends back on top, 2-1 in the bottom half of the third inning.
Now up to bat, Dane Most.
Anderson trades places with Villa at second with 2 outs in the third. 2-1 ball game now as Dane Most steps up. First extra base hit of the day for the Legends, and second extra base hit of the series for Will Anderson. So here's Dane Most, the third baseman who struck out swinging the last time he was up. Most started in Sunday's game, 1 for 3, walked and singled. First pitch is a changeup missing low for ball 1. And Anderson barreled this one up to right center. Constantine couldn't do anything about it at second base, completely out of the reach. All Royal could do in center was just take a good angle and get it in. Anderson, with some heads-up base running, booked it towards second base. And of course, Villa, with the speed from second, scored easily. 1-0. And a curveball is in there for a strike. Nice pitch from Hawk Hill for strike 1. 2-1 ball game. The Legends now lead following the RBI base double. A double from Will Anderson. He's now at second base. Austin Rabago stands on deck. He's 1 of 1 today with a single. Fastball down the heart of the plate is fouled off at home plate for strike 2. Hawk Hill a pitch away from getting out of it and getting the bats back in the Blues' hands. And again, I mentioned it on the pregame show. Legends up 2-1 early on in this game, here in the third. But you'll take this score because the Legends are beating the Blues. The Blues are not handing Menlo Park any runs. A lot easier to digest that way. Hawk from the stretch, comes set at the belt and looks at second, now comes home. Pitch is dribbled down the third base line. Ardois had a good beat on it, but he'll glove it in foul ground. We'll do it again out of ball and 2 strikes. Bottom of the third from the College of San Mateo in the Bay Area. Will Anderson stands on second, a 2-1 ball game. The Legends now lead. Hill stares down his sign thrower and Button, trying to get on the same page. A couple of ball players who played in the Bay Area last season. Fastball high and tight. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hill transferring from Sonoma State, and Button transferring from Cal Berkeley. Most with an open right-handed stance on a 2-2 count. The pitch. Fastball is hit high and deep to left field. Ashlock runs out of room, and it's over the scoreboard. 2-run homer, Dane Most, and the Legends pile on. 4-1 in the bottom half of the fourth inning. He takes advantage of the short porch and left and extends the lead. All of this coming with 2 outs. After the second out, caught by Royal in center field, an RBI double from Anderson, and now a 2-run home run off the bat of Dane Most. That is Most's first conference home run this summer as Austin Rabago steps in with 2 outs and a 4-1 ball game. His squad leads over the Blues. Rabago hit a 2-out single in the second inning. Fastball, called strike on the outer half. Hawk Hill gets a pitch, 1-1. Weekly sent back into the screen for strike 2. And And for Blues pitching that has been so effective all season, it's rare you kind of get a moment like this with 2 outs where the team they're playing against rallies, especially after 2 extra base hits in a row. This is a grounder up the middle. Shortstop O'Hara launches it to first, and it brings Comerford off the bag. Waiting for the verdict on the hit or error call.
Now to bat, Black Cowens.
Tough to say if the throw would have beat him at first base. That's kind of the whole point of determining whether it'd be an error or a base hit, and he'll chalk it up as a hit. 3 hits in a row allowed by Hawk Hill, all coming in 2 outs. Austin Rabago is 2 for 2 on the day, and now here's Blake Cowens, who singled in the 2nd inning as well. From the stretch, Hawk Hill stares down Button. First pitch is a slider. Runner takes off to second base. The throw down to the bag is on the money. Austin Rabago caught at second base, but not before a 2-run blast from Dane Most puts the Legends on top 4-1 over the Blues. Into the 4th inning we go. Blues trail 4-1 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Legends now lead 4-1 over the San Luis Obispo Blues into the 4th inning. A 3-run bottom half of the 3rd extended the Legends lead. A 2-run shot off the bat of Dane Most and an RBI double from Will Anderson. Gavin Smith leads it off. Sweeper missing downstairs, bounces on top of home plate for ball 1. Smith is Sunday's walk-off hero. Didn't start the game for the Blues, and in the 10th inning, Dean Traynor made a call to the bench. Gavin Smith was ready to go. He punctured a base hit through the 5-5 hole, and the rest is history. Mason Ashlock scored from second base, and the Blues won the ball game 11-10. Smith watches the 2-seamer in there for strike 1. First walk-off of the season for the Blues. A spectacular moment to cap off the weekend at Sinsheimer. The 1-1. Smith hits it high and deep in the air to left field, but looks like it's playable for Schmalz in center, who gets called off by Vaya and left and makes the flat-footed grab for the first out.
Now to bat, Brendan
Fly ball
Comerford.
out to start off the 4th inning, and it's Brendan Comerford. Playing against a lot of familiar faces on the Legends roster, including Anderson at first base. And the pitcher he's facing right now, Ray Anderson. First pitch to him is a fastball high for ball 1. Comerford flew out to Vaya in left field last time he was up. Coming off a weekend where he made his favorite Blues memory of all time. Pitch misses in the dirt, 2-0. A 402-foot laser beam to center field. A wall-scraping home run. Shot out of a cannon off the bat of Brendan Comerford. We talk about his pull side power all the time, but when he's going good, he's hitting it hard the opposite way. 2-0. Brendan off the hands, hits it up and straight back, a foul ball for strike one. Big smile as he rotates around the right-handed batter's box and digs back into the turf. And Brendan, I would imagine, is trying to hit that 367 sign in right center. Here's the 2-1. Comerford gets a pitch high and tight, but he leaves it alone. 3 balls and 1 strike. Nico Button stands on deck for the Blues. He was robbed of extra bases from Schmalz out in center. A full extension catch in the right center gap. Unbelievable grab. Here's the 3-1. Comerford takes a fastball in the outer half for strike 2. Comerford heading up north to play in Spokane, Washington for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. The WCC. Hernandez at Utah Valley as Comerford swings and misses for strike 3. All his former teammates love it as Comerford goes down on strikes.
Now up to bat, Nico Button.
2 outs in a row for the Menlo Park Legends, and now it's Nico Button, who put a charge into a baseball last time, but as I said, was robbed of extra bases. Rocking some baby blue batting gloves as he digs into the back of the left-handed batter's box with an open stance. First pitch and Button flinches. They say he went around for strike 1. 4-1 ball game, top half of the 4th inning. Legends already have 7 hits off of Hawk Hill. There is some action going in the Blues bullpen as Nico hits it in the air and falls fast into right field for a base hit. Out of the leaping reach of Austin Rabago at second base. Nico Button is aboard with a single.
Now up to bat, Gavin Constantine.
That's Button's first hit of the Blues 2025 summer, and it comes with 2 outs in the 4th. Third hit of the day for the Blues offense as Constantine, his first pitch swinging on a changeup for strike 1. Constantine struck out swinging to begin the 3rd inning, where the Blues put together their one and only run. An RBI base hit from Mason Ashlock scored E.J. Royal from second base. Constantine leaves a pitch outside, a ball and a strike. Constantine looking for his first conference base hit. 0 for 5 in the early going against the Legends and the Stompers combined. A 1-1. Constantine, a dribbler to the left side, but it'll be foul. 2-strike count now for Gavin. Having a fight now with a runner on first base. The tying run stands on deck. It's E.J. Royal, the leadoff man, who scored the Blues' one and only run. The Texas native, now upstate New Yorker at St. Bonaventure. Button takes off to second, but Constantine goes down swinging. Gavin Constantine strikes out for the 2nd time today, and the side is retired. Blues strand a runner on, single from Nico Button, but no avail. Into the bottom of the 4th we go. Legends up 4-1. As I remind you, this break is brought to you by Educational Employees Credit Union. Home half of the fourth is brought to you by Educational Employees Credit Union, proudly serving the Central Coast. EECU is located in Paso Robles and can be found at myeecu.org. Experience smarter banking at Educational Employees Credit Union. 79 due up for the Menlo Park Legends, a 4-1 ball game. They lead the SLO Blues. First pitch from Hawk Hill is fouled up and out of play for strike one. Blake Cowens leads off this frame. He ended the third inning after Austin Rabago was thrown out at second base, caught stealing. The 0-1. Cowens swings and misses at the slider for strike two. Blake terrorized the Blues in Sunday's game against San Luis Obispo. 3 hits there and a base hit today in the second inning. 0-2. Cowens off the hands and off the ankle of Hawk Hill, who hustles to the baseball. But he hobbled to it, and an infield base hit for Blake Cowens. Like Jack Hickerson, the Baylor Bear, getting hot in that Blues bullpen. But for now, Cowens has just recorded his second base hit of the day. A leadoff single for the Legends brings up James Bowes, the shortstop who singled himself back in the second inning, drove across the first Menlo Park run of the afternoon. The final person in a strand of 3 hits in that second inning. Bowes is first pitch swinging and hits a lazy pop-up to right. Alves, full speed and foul ground, can't get there. Huge area of foul territory down that right side. A fully exposed bullpen here at College of San Mateo. Leads to quite a bit of real estate for right fielders to track some baseball. Same goes for left field too. That's Mason Ashlock out and left for the Blues, as Cowens gets his lead off first, and Hawk Hill comes set with his stirrups. 0-1. Pitch is pulled and in the dirt, but holding at second base is Blake Cowens. No outs, runner on first. Legends lead 4-1 over the Blues. A blow-up third inning, a 2-run shot from Dane Most and an RBI double from Will Anderson. 8 hits on the afternoon for Menlo Park, not even halfway through the game. Fastball is hit up the middle. O'Hara dives. Can't get up in time. There will be no throw. 2 hits in a row to begin the fourth inning. And a theme to watch this weekend series, or I should say this hybrid weekend series, is that pitchers will tend to stay in a lot longer than you think they will. This is because the Blues have 4 games in a row, and you want to use those arms sparingly, especially for a summer ball team. Pitching is at a premium. I know I've talked about how that's been a strong suit for the Blues this year, but you still want to reserve your guys as much as possible. Runners on first and second. It's Isaiah Landry who flew out to right. Landry shows bunt, but pulls it back on a cut fastball that misses outside for ball 1. Landry ended that second inning with the fly ball to right field. Debatably the fastest guy on this roster for the Legends. Hill comes set. Sun beaming in his face. Landry in the shadows. Fastball outer half. Nico tried to back pick at second, and O'Hara, luckily leaping, keeps that ball in the infield. 2-0 to Isaiah Landry, who will attend the University of San Francisco for his junior season come fall. USF about a 40-minute drive here from College of San Mateo. 2-0. Landry swings and pops it high in the air to right center. Constantine goes out. He makes the flat-footed grab in shallow right. 2 fly balls the opposite way for Isaiah Landry. This time, this is the first out of the fourth inning.
Now up to bat.
So flipping to the top of the order, Quincy Villa. He's got runners on first and second. And recorded the 4th base hit of the afternoon for the Legends. A single. He eventually came around to score on that Will Anderson double. Also swiped second base, but feel like Villa would have scored easily anyway with that double because of his speed. TJ Schmalz stands on deck, and Villa takes the first pitch low for ball 1. Bottom of the fourth inning here from College of San Mateo. Blake Cowens at second, James Bowes at first. The 1-0. Villa swings and sends it out of play for a foul ball. That was a juicy fastball that time from Hawk Hill, elevated in the zone, and Via wanted all of that one. Just got underneath it. It's a foul ball. Hill stares down his catcher button, nods in agreement, and comes set from the belt. Now strides and shoots. Pitch off the hands to the third baseman Artois, who goes to second for one. This will be tough. Over to first. Not in time. A speedy Quincy Via beats out the double play. Blues can only turn one leg as the runner from second, Blake Cowens, reaches third. And I think Artois didn't even think about checking Cowens, who was running to third, because he wanted to turn that double play and end the inning because Quincy Via is so fast. I think that was the main thought in his head. Didn't quite go his way. As TJ Smalls steps up now with a runner at third and first. Smalls holds up on the slider low for ball one. Fly out to center and a ground ball out to Artois. As Smalls' day so far, but not without some dazzling defense in center. Via takes off to second, but Smalls pops it up. Playable down the right field line, and it will be foul as it drifted away, pushed by the wind over the batting cages. 4-1 ball game, bottom half of the fourth. 9 hits for Menlo Park. Blues can only muster 3. Hawk Hill staying in the zone. No walks today. A couple of Ks. 9 hits, producing 4 runs. Via takes off again. Pitch misses high, and Button pumped to second base. A successful stolen bag for Quincy Via, his second of the afternoon. So now 2 runners in scoring position for the Menlo Park Legends. And Hill just trying to get his bats back on. Hickerston still warming up in that Blues bullpen. The 2-1. Nice curveball, just misses too high for ball 3. And TJ Smalls from Pennsylvania, plays college ball back east in Connecticut, now in California. I'd like to see his flight miles. Deep sigh. Here's the 3-1. Fastball missing low and inside. That's ball 4. First walk of the day issued from Hawk Hill will load the bases here in the 4th inning. 2 outs. Bases loaded with legends for Will Robbins. Robbins 0 of 2 today. Fly ball out to center and a pop out to the second baseman, Constantine. Hill from the windup. Curveball wrinkles in the zone for a strike. Robbins from Hillsborough, California, and just finished up his first season at Princeton with the Tigers. Started in 6 games and batted at a .259 clip. 0-1. Robbins takes high. One ball and 1 strike to the Ivy League Will Robbins. Pitch spoiled on the ground left side and foul. Ball and 2 strikes. Robbins drove in 7 runs this past season at Princeton. 7 hits, 3 of them for extra bases. They were all doubles. So far in conference play, 1 base hit, driven in 2 runs. 0-1-2. Robbins hits it in the air to left field. Ashlock might have to turn his neck again. Off the scoreboard, a grand slam for Will Robbins. Menlo Park pulls ahead dramatically. 8-1 off the grand slam in left field by Robbins. Second home run of the day for the Legends. Again, coming with 2 outs.
Now up to bat, Will Anderson.
And again, Hawk Hill will stay in this game because the Blues are in need of pitching for this weekend, trainer's going to have Hill fight tooth and nail to get out of this jam. So Anderson now in a whole new ball game. Pitch misses high and outside. Button comes out of his squat to get there for ball one. Anderson an extra base hit himself in the third inning, and that was kind of the first domino to fall for the Blues here this afternoon. A 1 RBI double. Anderson tardy on a fastball here as he sends it into the backstop for a strike. Will Anderson, one of the 2 left-handed batters in today's lineup. 1 of 2 strikeout swinging in that aforementioned double. Anderson watches a pitch high, 2 balls and 1 strike. Anderson from Gilroy, California, recently celebrated a birthday while in San Luis Obispo on June 6th. 2-1. Will watches a changeup outside for strike 2. 50-50 call to Will Anderson, but he finds himself in a 2-strike count. Deuces wild for the left-handed hitting Anderson. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the pitch from Hill. Anderson swings and fouls it into the Blues bullpen. We'll do it again at 2-2. 6'3", 205 pounds. Very projectable frame for the Division I level. Heard he was talking to the other SC. Not Southern California, but South Carolina. Briefly at Ohlone College, and makes sense with these kind of numbers. Sends it straight back. Once again, a 2-2 count to Will Anderson. Dean Moe stands on deck. He hit the first home run of the Legends afternoon. Hawkhill trying to get his squad back on offense. The 2-2. Anderson hits a liner to left, but playable for Ashlock, who catches it on a line and retires the side. A grand slam home run from Will Robbins extends the Legends' lead 8-1. We head into the 5th inning at College of San Mateo on the SLO Blues streaming network.
David, answer.
Fans, it's time to throw down for a hoedown at Sinsheimer on June 19th. Show up to the ballpark in the Blues game against the Arroyo Seco Saints and Western-themed attire for 50% off your tickets. Giddy up to Western Night on June 19th. E.J. Royal is the leadoff man and is the recipient of strike 1 in the top half of the 5th inning. Well, the Legends just busted open this ball game with a grand slam in the home half of the 4th to make it 8-1 as Royal spits on a slider missing on top of home plate. 1-1 to EJ. Will Robbins, the guy from Menlo Park, driving in 4 with that long ball. 1-1. Royal hits it off the hands. Easy play for the shortstop Bose, who flings it over to first in time for the first out of the inning.
Now to bat, Sam Ardoin.
So here's Sam Ardois now. The leadoff ground ball out from E.J. Royal. Ardois seeing it pretty well too. A single in the first inning to get things going for the Blues. Reached on error in the third inning. From the windup, first pitch. Ardois watches the curveball missing inside, 1-0. Sam, an underwhelming season at the University of Louisiana Lafayette. Now in the transfer portal for the second time in his college career. A 1-0. Yanked fastball bounces in front of home plate. 2 balls and no strikes to Ardois. 1 out in the top half of the fifth. 8-1 ball game. Was a lot closer before the last frame, where the Blues gave up 4 runs on 3 hits. And only 1 walk from Hawk Hill came back to haunt him. 2-0 breaks Ardois' bat as he fouls it back. I'm not gonna lie, I can't say I've seen too many foul balls straight back that break someone's wooden bat. So Ardois looks to the dugout to try to get a new piece of lumber. And grabs one from Nico Button. He's got to retar it to get the right grip on it. So it's a 2-1 count now to Sam Ardois, top half of the fifth inning, after breaking his dovetail bat. Cade O'Hara stands on deck. The shortstop is 0 for 2 today. Here's the third baseman on the 2-1. Ardois leaves the curveball inside. Stays in a hitter's count, 3 balls and 1 strike. The 3-1. Ardois leaves the fastball high for ball 4. 1 out walk for the Blues. And it brings up Cade O'Hara. Second walk of the day for this Blues
Now
offense.
up to bat, Cade O'Hara.
O'Hara with some extra tape around the knob of his bat. A little extra thicker grip. Some hitters prefer that. And me personally, when I played in my days, I like the thin grip. Never liked the wide base. Fastball is framed on the outer half for strike 1. It works for O'Hara, so I won't knock it. I've seen hitters do far stranger things than that. Long hold on the 0-1, and O'Hara gets a center cut fastball fouled straight back for strike 2. You get the axe handle bats, which I never understand. I don't get those. People do the torpedo bats. I've seen people, instead of wear batting gloves, wear gardening gloves. Don't really understand that. It's more of a metaphor than actual usage. So the throw goes back to first. Ardois is back in plenty of time. Trying to show that you're a grinder, you're a hard worker, you're a workman, you're clocking in, blue collar. Put on the work gloves. They're kind of frail, honestly. I've seen them rip pretty quickly. Ardois at first, and on his right hand, he's got an oven mitt. O'Hara on the 0-2. Ardois takes off, and O'Hara swings and misses for strike 3 to throw down to second base. Is not in time. O'Hara goes down on strikes for the second time today, and there's 2 gone, but Sam Ardois just stole second base.
Mason Ashlock.
So here's Ashlock, who gave the Blues some hope back in the third inning. It was a much closer ball game at that point. He tied it with an RBI single right back up the middle. And Ashlock wearing his signature white helmet with the C-flap. And if you can't hear the loud contact he makes on the barrel, you can spot him with that helmet anywhere on the field. Fastball missing low and inside for ball 1. And Ashlock, just like 19 other Blues players on this roster, looking for a new 4-year school. Hitting the transfer portal after a season at Temple College and another at Weatherford down in Texas. Ashlock gets a nice pitch, low and outside, but in the zone for strike 1. Not much you can do with that one. Ray Hernandez has just been painting corners today against the Blues hitters. Gotta tip your cap to him. His stuff's been really good. Look at second. Now the 1-1. Ashlock gets a nice two-seamer on the lower half for a strike. 50-50 call to Mason Ashlock. Either way, standing in a 1-2 count with a runner on second and 2 outs. It's Ardois on second base. Brady Alf stands on deck. Here's the 1-2 to Ashlock. And Mason hits a hard bouncing ball to the second baseman Rabago, who backhands it, throws it over to first in time, and the side is retired. Blues strand a runner in scoring position, a walk from Sam Ardois, and that's about it. Halfway through at College of San Mateo, the Blues trail big 8-1 against the Menlo Park Legends. As I remind you, this game is brought to you by our friends at Ancient Owl Beer Garden. Bottom of the fifth is brought to you by our friends at Ancient Owl Beer Garden and Bottle Shop, your go-to spot for every Blues road game. Located just around the corner from Simsheimer, Ancient Owl is the official home of the Blues Watch Party. All season long, Ancient Owl, choose your beer wisely. And a hello to everyone who's tuning in from Ancient Owl Brewery right now. Hawk Hill's day is done. He is replaced by Jack Hickerson, right-handed pitcher from Baylor University. First pitch is a hissing fastball to Dane Most, fouled up and out of play for strike one. So Hawk Hill, after 4 innings of work, gave up 10 hits, 8 runs, all of them earned, a walk and 2 strikeouts. Now it's the wiry right-hander from Texas. From the windup, here's the 0-1 to Dane Most. Sweeper swung on and missed for strike 2. And a nice-looking sweeper at that from Jack Hickerson. Hickerson's making his 3rd appearance of the summer for the Blues. Has only pitched in 3 innings, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts with 1 hit. 0-2. Changeup, missing below the zone, not by much. They appealed to first on the check swing from Most. He didn't go around, though. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It was a great pitch that time from Jack Hickerson. You're getting the whole kitchen sink. Slider, fastball, changeup, all in this first at-bat to Most. And the first home run of the day for the Legends. Now on the 1-2. Plunked him square in the back, and that one hurt. Dane Most reeling as he takes off his shin guard and hobbles over to first base.
Now up to bat.
Hickerson had him in a count right where he wanted him, but couldn't command the fastball. A leadoff base runner for the Legends in the 5th inning. It's Austin Rabago now, who is a perfect 2 for 2 on the day with 2 base hits, and came around to score the first Legends run of the day from the RBI single from James Bowes. Rabago leaves the fastball high and outside for ball 1. Austin from Hendrix College, and kind of a rare baseball player you see stay at the same school for 4 years, expected to return back to the Ozarks of Arkansas to play for the Warriors at Hendrix. The 1-0. Rabago watches a changeup low for ball 2. Last season was All Southern Athletic Association's 2nd team. infielder with a .345 batting average, a .458 slugging, and a .420 on base percentage. Here's a 2-0. Pitch misses high, 3 balls and no strikes. I mean, it's hard to ignore the stuff of Jack Hickerson, too. The biggest issue for him is honing it in the strike zone and having it be effective. You saw it on the first 2 pitches against Dane Most. When he can be on with that fastball and slider, it can be deadly, especially in Big 12, where he'll be playing for the Baylor Bears next year. 3-0. Fastball taking all the way on the outer half for a strike. Rabago drove in 36 runs this past season at Hendricks in his 49 base hits. He had 12 extra base hits, 2 homers, and 10 doubles. Pick over to first, not in time. And trailing by 7 runs, bit of a head-scratching moment for Hickerson to pick back over to first base. But nonetheless, we're ready to go here on the 3-1 count to Rabago, one of the 2 left-handed hitters in today's lineup for the Legends. 3-1. High fastball. Rabago flinches and will take his walk. Back-to-back free passes issued from Jack Hickerson.
Now up to bat, Blake.
And it's a lot harder to have pitchers stay in the game for long periods of time if you're not going to be able to throw strikes. At least Hawk Hill was able to stay into the zone. Yeah, you're going to get batted around the yard. That just kind of comes with the territory. He got the 2 strikeouts. Only 1 walk, though. It's just a lot harder when you have a hit by pitch and a walk. And if that's kind of going to project your outing, we're in for a long day. Hickerson delivers a fastball, missing inside, not by much though, to Blake Cowens, who is also perfect today. A couple of base hits, 2 for 2, came in to score on that grand slam off the bat of Will Robbins back in the 4th inning. The 0-1. Sweeper in there for a strike. Tons of movement on that pitch. Blake Cowens didn't offer. Blake in an 0-2 count. Played 1 year JUCO ball at Skyline Community College, which is very close to College of San Mateo. 0-2. Fastball high, missing. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now in the Midwest, playing for the University of Illinois Chicago Flames. I've talked about with Ryan a few times that he loves to watch rom-coms and eat cookie dough ice cream. And I am happy to say I think I've converted Ryan. He watched Crazy Stupid Love this week. 2-1. Fastball inside. Count moves to 2-1. Ryan sent me a text message the other night on one of our off days watching Crazy Stupid Love, and it warmed my heart. .3-1. Pitch almost hits the head of Cowens, and the 2nd straight walk from Jack Hickerson. That will fill the bases for James Bowes. Meeting at the mound is in order with all the infielders involved. Blues have yet to record an out, and they have loaded the bases via a hit by pitch, a walk, and another walk.
Now
Pitchers
up to bat,
getting
James Bowes.
their reps in with the pigskin. Little 3-way catch out in the bullpen. As here's James Bowes with a chance to really pull away in this game for Menlo Park. Bottom of the 5th inning from San Mateo. Legends already up 8-1 over the Blues, and they're threatening here with the bases loaded and no one out. Bowes takes the first pitch slider for a strike. Bowes is also another hitter who is 2 for 2 today. Drove in the first run of the afternoon for Menlo Park with his RBI single in the 2nd inning with 2 outs. The 0-1. Curveball high and inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Bowes in the transfer portal after a season at Loyola Marymount. And prior to that, a couple years at West Valley College where he was all-conference both of his seasons. First team in 24 and second team in 23. Hits this one on a line, but into the Blues bullpen, a long and hard foul ball for strike 2. A 6-foot, 180-pound infielder from San Jose. Looking for a 4-year to play in his final season of college baseball. He's got 1 year of eligibility left. 0-1-2. And Bose hits it hard on the ground. Ardois goes to second for one. They're going to try to turn this one onto first in time. The Blues get 2 outs on the double play, but Dane Most comes in to score. 9-1, Menlo Park. There's 2 gone in the 5th. And at this point in the game, you will take those 2 outs trailing by that much. A hit by pitch coming back to hurt the Blues. First pitch to Isaiah Landry is a called strike on the outer half. Landry with a closed-off stance in the right-handed batter's box. The 0-1. And Landry gets hit on the hand. That had to hurt. Certainly hurt our microphone. Second hit by pitch of the inning for Jack Hickerson.
Now to bat.
And command is at a premium as we already have another arm getting hot in that Blues bullpen. Another right-hander. Runners at first and third. And it's the top of the order in Quincy Vaya, who takes the first pitch curveball for a strike. Vaya is 1 of 3 today. A single in the 3rd. As the runner takes off to second, ball kicks away. Here comes the 10th run of the ball game for the Legends. Pass ball from Nico Button. Vaya moves into scoring position, but Cowens will score from third. Here's Vaya with 2 outs. Pitch low and outside. Button blocks it. The appeal to first on the check swing. He didn't go around. 10-1 ball game. Legends lead the SLO Blues. From the stretch, Hickerson dangles his right arm, now comes set at the waist. 1-1. Another pitch blocked by Button behind home plate. 2 balls and a strike. Wyatt Fisher getting loose in the bullpen for San Luis Obispo. Another right-hander from Cedarville. 3-1, runner takes off to third, and the pitch is a called strike to Vaya. So now Isaiah Landry at third base. Quincy Vaya waits on the full count. The payoff. Grounded to third, Ardois dives, but it's foul. All that hustle for nothing as Quincy Vaya trots back to home plate. Shadows beginning to cascade over here at College of San Mateo. It started off as a pretty warm afternoon. The sun was beating down pretty hard. The UV was pretty high at least, and we were told that once the day goes on and the shadows start to come into play, the temperatures drop pretty significantly. And I'm not one to wear a hoodie, typically broadcasting, but it's brought me to wear the hoodie right now. 3-2. Pitch not even close, up in the air, and that's a walk to Vaya.
Now into bat, TJ Smolzy.
There's TJ Smalls as Dean Traynor heads out to talk to his right-hander from Baylor. Wyatt Fisher still getting loose in that Blues bullpen. And candidly, I mean, this is just a reset moment. The outing has gone everything but Jack Hickerson's way. Hit by pitch, 2 walks. You get the ground ball double play from Sam Ardois to Constantine to Comerford. Then a hit by pitch, and now a walk to Quincy Vaya. Pretty catastrophic even considering the conditions of this game. And Hawk Hill was moving along pretty nicely through the first 5 batters he faced, retiring all 5 in a row. Started off the second inning with a couple of strikeouts, and then after that, 3 hits in a row, producing the first run of the game, and then a blow-up inning in the third, a 3 spot there, and then, of course, that grand slam in the fourth. And here the Legends have scored 2 runs. 1 on a double play, and 1 on a pass ball. First pitch to TJ Smalls is a called strike. Smalls made a nice play in center field early in this ball game when it was a lot closer. It was the MAC All-Second Team honors this past season at Fairfield. Started in 22 games out of 23 appearances. Runner goes to second, and Button, after blocking the baseball, can't glove it in time. Quincy Vaya with a stolen base. Runners at second and third now for the Legends. 10-1 game in the bottom half of the 5th. Jack Hickerson trying to work out of the jam. Got a double play to get closer to that, but he's just looking for 1 more out. 1-1 is hit off the hands and out of play to the right. Ball and 2 strikes now to Smalls, who is hitless today, but walked in the 4th and scored on the grand slam. A .280 batting average this past season at Division I Fairfield. 40 runs driven in on his 54 hits. 8 homers, 13 doubles, and a triple. Guy can bang. Hickerson steps off, readjusts himself, before quickly getting back on the rubber. The 1-2. Swing and a foul behind home plate. We'll do it again at a ball and 2 strikes. And before Fairfield, he was a 3-sport athlete at Wallen-Paupack area high school. Played football, baseball, basketball. The 3-time All-League and All-Region selection after a .422 career batting average with 86 hits and 86 runs scored in 64 games. He's also 2-time All-State selection for football. The 1-2. Pitch is a half swing, and it's chopped again behind home plate. Count stays at a ball and 2 strikes. That's an athlete right there. Scored 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, doing it on both sides of the football. And he was named to the All-Area All-Star team in basketball. From the stretch, here's the 1-2. Pitch hits our camera, and I catch it. Luckily, I believe the camera's okay. We try to readjust it, thanks to our statistician, Charlie Coors, who's on the road with me today. And the 2-2 counts against TJ Smalls. Runner on second and third. Pitch just misses inside, ball 3. Hickerson gets back on the rubber quickly. Will Robbins stands on deck, the grand slam kid in the 4th inning. Hickerson comes set. The payoff. Chopped down the third baseline and foul. Stubborn at bat here for TJ Smalls, fighting against Jack Hickerson. The 3-2. Fastball on the ground, left side, through for a base hit. Isaiah Landry scores from third, and Vaya throws the stop sign on at third. The Legends dugout chirps their third base coach.
Now up to bat, Will Robbins.
An RBI single makes it an 11-1 game, and I think Dean Traynor is going to go to his bullpen. Wyatt Fisher comes into this game And Jack Hickerson can't even get out of the inning. 11-1 Legends on the SLO Blues streaming network. Jack Hickerson's day is done. He couldn't even get out of the 5th inning, and now it's Wyatt Fisher, the right-hander from Cedarville University, with runners on 1st and 3rd. The first pitch is a grounder to Ardois, who gobbles it up, throws it to first. Comerford can't pick it. A run comes in to score. And there's actually a runner at second hiding behind the umpires on the field, and that runner moves up to third.
Now up to bat, Will
And
Anderson.
a throwing error from Sam Ardois over at shortstop brings in another run for the Legends. It's 12-1. Runners at second and third with 2 outs. And Wyatt Fisher thought he just got out of it quickly with 1 pitch. But he stays back in the game, as Robbins is now on second base off the throwing error. TJ Smalls at third, as the first pitch to Will Anderson is a called strike. Anderson 1 of 3 today. RBI double, liner to left, and a strikeout swing. The 0-1. Anderson watches a pitch on the outside for strike 2. Will's kind of been getting hosed on calls like that today. The fastball in the outer half. He got rung up, or he's on that call in the second. Oh-2. Button bounces it in front of him. Ball and 2 strikes. Wyatt making his 3rd appearance for the Blues this summer. Fisher is a right-hander from Cedarville. Has only pitched in an inning in 2/3, gave up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout. 1-2. Pitch misses high. Button comes out of his squat. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. 12-1 ball game. Another blow-up frame for the Legends. And for a long time, it was kind of a tip-your-cap moment with the grand slam and the 2-run homer and the RBI double. This inning hasn't been the same sentiment. 2-2. Anderson swings and fouls it up and out of play on the left side. We'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. This time around, these runs have not come in the ways you'd want them to. A pass ball, running the first run, a double play, nothing you can really do. You train those outs for just getting back into offense with how much you were down. An error from Will Robbins brought in a run, or from Sam Ardois. Anderson swings and lines it, almost hitting the first base coach. Again, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Will Anderson. Adjusting his batting gloves just outside the left-handed batter's box. Dane Moe stands on deck. Hit the first home run of the day for Menlo Park. An offensive frenzy for the Legends. Here's the 2-2. Anderson leaves a fastball high for ball 3. Fisher from the stretch. The payoff. Fastball center cut. Right back up the middle. O'Hara's got it. The throw over to first is offline and high. Comerford can't glove it. A run comes in to score and out of play. So a second will not come in. Will Robbins will be held up at third base. But another throwing error, this time from Cade O'Hara, keeps the inning alive. Back-to-back errors. E5 and an E6. The Blues were errorless through their first 4 innings and now have all of a sudden collected 2. (13-1) ball game. Blues trail big. Just trying to stop the bleeding. Fastball, a called strike to Dane Most, who led off this inning with a hit by pitch from Jack Hickerson. Half swing, and Comerford backhands it and taps first for the unassisted putout. Another blow-up spot. 5-run inning in the bottom of the 5th inning. 13-1 Menlo Park. We'll head into the 6th on the SLO Blues streaming network. Brady Alves leaves it off for the Blues in the top half of the 6th inning. It's Alves, Gavin Smith, and Brandon Comerford due up for the Blues. Legends rocking with their guy, Will Hernandez, and why would you not? All of his stuff is working really well against San Luis Obispo today. The right-hander from Utah Valley strides and shoots, and Alves swings and misses for strike 1. A 13-1 ball game, a 5-run inning for the Menlo Park Legends. Only 2 of those runs earned. A nightmare situation for Jack Hickerson, who came in and recorded 2 outs because of a double play to Sam Ardois at third. And Wyatt Fisher came in to rescue Hickerson, but 2 fielding errors, or throwing errors, I should say, brought in some more runs for the Legends, as that pitch is taken on the inner half for strike 2. Brady Alves replaced Don Jordan when he was hit on the forearm. And now he hits it off the hands into left field. An easy play for Vaya. Makes the grab for the first out of the inning. 1 out now for Gavin Smith. Smith 0 for 2 today, reached on a fielder's choice and flew out to left field. He was stranded on first base back in the second. First pitch, and Smith fouls it straight back for strike one. Smith from Queen Creek, Arizona, playing baseball on the East Coast for the Harvard Crimson. You can see it in his red batting gloves waggling in front of his hip. The 0-1. Smith hits it off the hands, and it's a flare to the first baseman, Anderson, who makes the easy play with a couple skips over to his left side.
Now to bat, Brendan Comerford.
2 quick and easy outs for Ray Hernandez as Brendan Comerford steps up to the plate. He struck out swinging for the second out of the 4th inning the last time he was up and flew out to left field in the 2nd inning. Nico Button stands on deck with his catcher's gear at the shins. Comerford takes the first pitch slider in there for a strike. Brendan Comerford, the reigning player of the week. A 2-time player of the week at that. Here's the 0-1. Comerford hits a high and towering fly ball to left field, and it'll just be foul. Comerford takes his time walking into the back of the right-handed batter's box. Exchanges some words with Cowens, just trying to straighten out that baseball, a big smile as he digs in. Off the bat, that was fair and just to the left of the scoreboard, but just too much hooking, and it landed foul into the bushes. Here's the 0-2. Comerford, a 50-foot fastball in front of home plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brendan Comerford, the Gonzaga commit. Second team all-conference this past year at Ohlone College and a co-MVP with Will Anderson, who was over at first base. Comerford buckled up on a sweeper, but it misses inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brendan Comerford. 2 outs, bases empty, Blues trail by 12. From the windup, here's a 2-2. Brendan swings and misses for strike 3, but it kicks off the shoulder pad of the home plate umpire. The throw down to first is in time. Brendan Comerford strikes out swinging, and on the drop third strike, or the strike that went off the shoulder pad of the home plate umpire, and Steve Leary is retired at first base. So quickly, we're on the bottom half of the 6th, and the Blues trail big, 13-1 against the Menlo Park Legends on the Slow Blues streaming network.
to bat.
Bottom of the sixth inning here from the College of San Mateo in the Bay Area. The Blues trailing big against the Menlo Park Legends 13-1 in the bottom half of the sixth inning. Austin Rabago leads it off for the Menlo Park Legends. It's Wyatt Fisher back out there for the Blues. First pitch is a fastball missing high to Rabago. Rabago has reached base in all 3 of his plate appearances today. A perfect 2 for 2 in his at-bats, a couple of singles. 1-0 misses low, 2 balls and no strikes, a hitter's count to Austin Rabago. The Blues went quietly in the top half of the sixth inning, a 1-2-3 frame. A fly out to left from Alves, a Gavin Smith pop out to the first baseman Anderson, and a strikeout swinging from Comerford. There's strike 1 to Austin Rabago, 2-1 now to the left-handed hitting second baseman batting sixth. Blake Cowan stands on deck as Rabago hits it in the air to left. Ashlock makes the grab on the move for the first out of the inning. So Wyatt Fisher gets out one as Blake Cowan steps in. Also 2 of 2 with a walk today. Blake came in to score on the grand slam from Will Robbins as well, which that grand slam mentioned frequently, but really a turning point in this ball game. First pitch in there is for a strike to Blake Cowens. Blues were trailing 4-1 before that long ball. Game still seemed very attainable for this squad. Fastball missing high, 1-1. But then after that grand slam off the scoreboard and left, it was a pretty big gut punch to this team. He followed that up with a 5-run fifth inning with only 1 of those runs being earned. This one a hit on the barrel to Ashlock, who makes a rangy play in left field. Nice play by Mason Ashlock for the second out of the inning. Cowens hit that decently well. It was falling fast, and Mason Ashlock kept his balance, running in on it. Stayed on his feet for the second out. 2 quick ones here for Wyatt Fisher, brings up James Bowes. Couple of base hits, one of them driving in a run, the first run of the day for the Legends. Fastball center cut for a strike. A 5-4-3 double play in the fifth inning. The first 2 outs of that disastrous frame for the Blues. Fisher comes set from the belt, now the 0-1. Fastball, check swing, they go to first, he went around for strike 2. Bowes is uncommitted in the transfer portal. 1 more season of college baseball left. The 0-2. Bowes swings, he barrels this one too into left center field. Royal giving chase, he makes a running grab. Nice defense from the outfield. 1-2-3 inning for Wyatt Fisher. We head into the 7th. 13-1 Menlo Park on the SLO Blues streaming network. This next inning is brought to you by Studio Design Group Architects. Seventh inning is brought to you by the talented team at Studio Design Group Architects. Whether you're designing, planning, or needing permits for a new space, Studio Design Group and their collaborative philosophy have you covered. Visit SDG Architects to learn more. Nico Button leads it off in the top half of the 7th for the Blues as the first pitch misses high and outside for ball 1. Button today is 1 of 2. A single back in the 4th. He accounts for 1 of only the 3 Blues hits today. Swings and foul tips it into the mid of Cowens for a strike. Ray Hernandez has just been dealing today for this Blues, against this Blues offense. Here he is from the windup on the 1-1. Button leaves a slider low and inside. 2 balls and a strike. And Hernandez's stuff has just been on between the 2-seam fastball, which I think is the best pitch we've seen, the slider, a 4-seam fastball, a changeup. He has a knuckleball in the repertoire too, but I don't think we've seen it yet. 2-1. Button swings, and it's a chopping ground ball to the second baseman, Rabago, who makes a throw on a run and in time. Ground ball out from Nico Button, and it's the first one of the 7th inning. Blues trailing big to the Menlo Park Legends, 13-1 in the top half of the 7th. A game that really got out of hand starting in the 4th inning. A grand slam coming off the bat of Will Robbins, and follow it up with an inning where the Legends put up 5 runs, which would be part of the course based on that grand slam, but only 1 of those 5 runs were earned. That is a tough pill to swallow. First pitch to Constantine buckles him up. A slider in there for a strike. Constantine 0 for 2 today with a couple of Ks. Wide stance in the windup from Hernandez as he rocks and cradles his green glove, and Constantine spoils it down the third base line. Third base coach Rene Regalado relives his days at Redwood Community College and makes the play. Hernandez right back on the hill, a former Ohlone College Renegade turned Wolverine from Utah Valley. The 0-2. Pitch missing outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I mentioned at the top of this ball game, but Hernandez got some action in that regional matchup between the University of Arizona, that elimination game. And that was the only game he pitched in up in Eugene, Oregon for that regional. University of Arizona, of course, coming out of that regional, now playing in the Supers and now playing in Omaha. Check swing for Constantine. He fouls it back. We'll do it again at 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Arizona's a team that kind of, I don't want to say completely came out of nowhere, because they had the talented roster. They had Brendan Summerhill, who was hurt for a lot of the season with a thumb injury. Mason White, a great defender at shortstop and a good hitter too, making up for some ground. As Constantine puts it on the ground the left side, third baseman Most gobbles it up, throws it over to first in plenty of time. Second out of the inning off the bat of Gavin Constantine. And now we'll flip it to the top of the order, and E.J. Royal. Hitless today with an unassisted put out at first. A ground ball to the shortstop Bose and a walk in the 3rd inning. He has scored the only Blues run this afternoon. It came from a Mason Ashlock RBI single in the 3rd. But now Arizona caught some fire in the Big 12 tournament. They beat TCU in the championship game, which is impressive in itself. The first pitch to Royal misses, but not by much, for ball 1. Then they got hot in Eugene and became one of the hottest teams in the country. They will play Coastal Carolina in Game 1 of the College World Series on Friday. 1-0. Royal leaves another close fastball high, 2 balls and no strikes. I know all eyes are on that game. I feel like that Coastal Carolina and that Arizona game, pair that with the LSU and Arkansas game, I think those are the 2 best games in the first round. Those are World Series games already. Here's a curveball taken for strike 1. But along the way, Utah Valley was one of the teams that fell at the hands of Arizona, and Hernandez, a pitcher right now from Menlo, pitched in that game. Royal hits it into left field for a base hit. E.J. Royal, a 2-out knock, keeps it alive in the 7th. First Blues base hit since the 4th inning off the bat of Nico Button.
Now to bat, Sam Arden.
So here's our Duam. He's got a base hit today. He's got one of the 4. A single in the 1st inning. He also reached on error in the 3rd and walked in the 5th. Stole a bag as well. Got a pretty good jump too. First pitch, and Sam takes the 2-seamer for a strike. There's just so much sharp movement on that 2-seam fastball from Ray Hernandez. Shadows almost completely engulfing the College of San Mateo here in the Bay Area. 0-1. Ardois hits it off the hands, and it's an easy play for Rabago at second base, who barely has to move. Blues get a hit, but strand that runner on. It's 13-1 Menlo. It's time to stretch at College of San Mateo on the SLO Blues streaming network. Now pitching for the Blues, it's Zach Savino. In to relieve Wyatt Fisher of his duties. Isaiah Landry's the first batter he'll face, and it's a pitch missing low and outside for ball one. Well, the Blues avoided a 1-2-3 inning with a base hit from E.J. Royal in the top half of the frame, but that's about it. Isaiah Landry takes a strike here. Landry 0 of 3 today, flew out to right, flew out to the second baseman Constantine, and was hit by a pitch. He squares up a piece here and sends it into center field for a base hit. 12th hit of the afternoon for the Menlo Park Legends, and it leads things off in the 7th. With that hit, every hitter in the lineup has collected at least one base hit. Landry was the last one to do it, as now we'll flip it to the top of the lineup in Quincy Vaya. Runner on first now. Landry, arguably the fastest runner on this team. Vaya, not too far behind him. Pitch missing low for ball one. Quincy 1 of 3 today. A single in the third. Has reached on base his past 3 plate appearances. A single, a fielder's choice, and a walk, and he scored all 3 of those times. Pitch bounces on top of home plate off the shin of Nico Button, and Landry will just stay at first base, already ahead by 12 runs against the Blues. Well, Ryan and I typically talk about how the error threshold for the Blues should stay at 3 or below. Well, they kept it below. It's 13-1 Menlo Park. 2-0. Pitch down the middle, first strike. (2-1). This one's drilled to Kate O'Hara, who dives and made the catch, so trying to go to first, and the throw gets away. Kate O'Hara just hung a star, catching that laser of a line drive. Unbelievable grab from O'Hara.
Now to bat.
Look at that, flashing some leather over at shortstop. This ball was squared up, too. Not a lot of reaction time for Kate O'Hara, putting his body on the line and sharing a big grin over with the third base coach for Menlo Park. So a nice first out here for Zach Savino with a runner on first, and it's TJ Smalls. Smalls has one hit today. It was in the 5th inning. It was an RBI single. Also walked, popped out to center field, and grounded out to third. He chops this one to the Blues dugout, and Dollarman makes a nice play with the bare hand for strike one. Smalls, the center fielder, batting second today, up for his 5th plate appearance of the afternoon. Sun quickly setting here on the hilltop. 0-1 count. Curveball to Artois. Took a rough hop. He takes his time to glove it. They'll throw it over to first, and the throw's in time. Nice stretch from Brendan Comerford as the runner from first and Landry moves to second.
Up to bat.
Second time today, TJ Smalls has grounded out to the third baseman Artois, and now it's Will Robbins. Robbins, probably the biggest name in today's game for the Legends. Grand slam in the 4th inning. First pitch. Bouncing ball, and Button keeps it in front. They appeal to first on the check swing. He didn't go around. 1-0 to Will Robbins. The DH has one hit on the afternoon. It was that home run off the scoreboard. Fastball down the middle of the plate for a strike. Robbins didn't seem like he had any intentions at swinging at that. Runner in scoring position, it's Isaiah Landry. Plenty of speed out there. Will Anderson stands on deck. He's got an extra base hit for an RBI today. Here's a fastball in there for a strike, 1-2. Robbins popped out to the second baseman. Constantine flew out to Royal in center and reached on air in the 5th. A string of 2 errors in a row. One from Ardois and one from O'Hara. 1-2. Slider in the dirt, and Button keeps it around the area again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Nico Button just put on a clinic back there behind home plate. He has just been blocking what he can. New backstop for the Blues, returning for another summer in San Luis Obispo. He was here last year. Late addition for this roster, as this pitch is fouled up and out of play. 2-2 again to Will Robbins. A valedictorian in high school, Achievement Award in Science, graduation seal of biliteracy in Spanish, a Xerox Award for Innovation in Information Technology. Breaks his bat, and O'Hara ranges out to shallow left, and he makes the 2-handed grab to retire the side. Kate O'Hara made a brilliant play for the first out of the inning, strains the runner at second base, and we head into the 8th inning, 13-1 Menlo Park. Blues are coming up on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. New pitcher in for the Menlo Park Legends is the left-hander Max Babbage. He made an appearance against the Blues this past weekend and only pitched in an inning there. 2 runs, one of them earned, a hit, 2 walks, facing 6 batters. And Cade O'Hara is the first batter he will face here in the top half of the 8th inning. The Legends lead big 13-1 over the San Luis Obispo Blues. Cade O'Hara takes strike 1 in this AB. Mason Ashlock and Brady Alves due up in this frame. Here's the 0-1. O'Hara leaves that fastball up and outside, 1-1. Cade made a dazzling play at shortstop this past half inning. A diving play to his left, completely laying out his entire body. Spectacular. 1-1. O'Hara fouls it off the catcher's mitt of Cowens. 2 balls and a strike. I'll check that 1-2 to Cade O'Hara, the former Texas Longhorn, now in the transfer portal as a two-way player. Left-hander Babbage comes set at the waist. Closed off stance. Here's the 1-2. O'Hara takes the nice sweeper low. And that's a real nice take from Cade O'Hara. A slider that started out, it looked like it was going to break into the zone, and it just completely ducked underneath it. Lots of horizontal break for Babbage on that pitch. A mature take from Cade O'Hara. 2-2. O'Hara swings, and too hot to handle at short for Bose. Base hit for Cade O'Hara. The 5th of the Blues afternoon.
Out to bat, Mason Ashlock.
Sinking liner in the infield. A tough play for Bose to kind of square it up because it had a lot of top spin on it. He didn't know if he could catch it on the fly or if he could pick it off sliding to his left. He chose the latter and couldn't glove it. Base hit for O'Hara as Mason Ashlock steps in with a base hit of his own today. First pitch to him, low and outside, a called strike. That's been the tendency today on those called strikes, really for both sides. Outer half of the zone has been getting a lot of likes from the home plate umpire and Leary. Ashlock hits it high in the air to right, but playable for Landry, who makes the grab moving to his left for the first out of the inning. So O'Hara's still at first base, a fly ball out from Mason Ashlock, and that brings up Brady Alves. Alves 0 for 2 today after replacing Don Jordan. He was hit by a pitch in the second.
Now up to bat, Brady Alves.
Precautionary measures for Don Jordan. He appears to be okay. He was flexing that hand a little earlier and was throwing a baseball. Alves playing in right and struck out swinging and flew out to left today. He's the recipient of strike 1 here against Max Babbage. Gavin Smith stands on deck. O'Hara with his hands on his knees at first with an average lead. And Alves takes a fastball painted on the outer half for strike 2. 0-2 count to Brady Alves. 1 out and a runner on first base. Blues trail by 12 in the top half of the 8th inning. Becoming darker and darker here at the College of San Mateo. The 0-2. Swung on and missed. He chased the elevated fastball for strike 3, and there's 2 outs in the inning.
Now to bat, Gavin Smith.
8th strikeout of the day for Blues hitters, and that brings up Gavin Smith. Smith 0 for 3 today, but has not struck out. Reached on a fielder's choice in the second, flew out to left, and popped out to the first baseman Anderson in the 6th inning. First pitch missing high and outside. Cowens, nice snag there, 1-0. Smith DHing today, typical third baseman, and plays a lot of outfield at Harvard. Utilized in the hot corner frequently this season with the Blues. 1-0. Smith leaves that one low. 2 balls and no strikes. A hitter's count to Gavin Smith. Brendan Comerford stands on deck. Both Smith and Comerford hitless today. 4 singles scattered around the top 4 batters in today's lineup for the Blues. Smith sends it straight back into the backstop for strike 1. Royal, the leadoff man, is single. Ardois is single, the second 2-hole hitter. O'Hara is single in the 8th just now. Mason Ashlock, an RBI single in the 3rd. All those hits coming in different innings. 2-1. Smith hits the outside fastball high in the air to right field. Landry has the speed to get there in foul ground, and he does. Rangy play by the right fielder Isaiah Landry, and the side is retired. Even though Kate O'Hara collected a base hit in the 8th inning, he stranded on first. 13-1, heading to the bottom half of the 8th inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. Will Anderson leads it off against Zach Savino, who's back out there, and he takes strike one. Bottom of the 8th inning here from the College of San Mateo, a game that has been determined since about the 5th inning. A 5-run frame there, a disaster class for the Blues. And it would seem to be like a mostly attainable game, 4-1 lead for Menlo Park. Blues felt like they were in it, but a grand slam in the 4th really pulled it away 8-1, and then that 5 runs just kind of sealed it. Still some ball left. Blues got another opportunity in the top half of the 9th inning. A 2-1 count here to Will Anderson, who is 1 of 4 today. A double in the 3rd, drove in a run, reached on an error, lined out to left, and struck out swinging. 2-1. Anderson scooches out of the way of a fastball inside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Kind of surprised not to see either side emptying the bench and trying to get some guys some playing time. All of the starters are in for both sides. 3-1. Anderson watches the 2-seamer in there for a strike. The only exception being Brady Alves in right field, replacing Don Jordan, who was hit by a pitch in the first at-bat of the day for him. Here's the payoff to Will Anderson. Fastball in the dirt, and a leadoff walk to Will. 5th walk of the day allowed by Blues pitching, and it leads it off at the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's Dane Most, who had a 2-run homer in the 3rd inning. The first of the 2 long balls for the Legends offense today. That's Dane's only hit. He was hit by a pitch in the 5th and scored on a pass ball, and then also struck out swinging in the 2nd. He swings here and fouls it behind home plate for strike 1. Most from Iowa Western Community College, entering his sophomore season at 6'2", 205 pounds, and a native of Broomfield, Colorado. The 0-1. And Most spits on that one low, 1 ball and 1 strike. This past season with the Reveres, a .303 batting average, drove in 16 runs, no homers, 6 extra base hits. They were all doubles. The 1-1. Fastball grooved on his hands and fouled behind home plate again, a ball and 2 strikes. Won the state championship in high school in Broomfield. In that season, he batted .347, 16 runs batted in on 26 hits, no homers, 4 doubles, and 2 triples, a .927 OPS. Fastball just missing outside for ball 2, which is funny because you hear a .927 OPS, you're like, that's an incredible year. That's actually his worst year of high school baseball. 1,000 OPS, nearly 1,200 OPS the year before that, and a 1,200 OPS 1,200 OPS the year prior to that, his freshman season. Granted, smaller sample size, only 15 games played. But still, you look at the 1197 OPS he had in 30 games played, a 451 batting average. A head scratcher as to how no schools picked him up. Had to go the JUCO route at Iowa Western. Here's the payoff. Fastball is drilled into left field. Ashlock will make a play off the wall as it one-hops the fence. Anderson labors into third, and that's a double from Dane Most. A laser beam off the wooden bat of Dane Most puts 2 runners in scoring position for the Legends. No outs in the home half of the 8th, and it's Austin Rabago. Legends already ahead by 12 against the Blues in the bottom of the 8th, and they're just trying to tack on even more. Why not? Rabago, couple of hits today. He was perfect in terms of getting on base until the 6th when he flew out to left. And home plate umpire Steve Leary trying to keep the Blues dugout in check. Rabago now back in the left-handed batter's box, a slightly open stance. Blaine Cowan stands on deck as he swings and misses at the fastball for strike 1. A couple of singles in the 2nd and 3rd, was caught stealing in the 3rd. Walked in the 5th inning, was stranded at third base there, and then that fly out to begin the 6th inning. 0-1. Rabago swings and is tardy on a 4-seamer, sending it into the netting behind home plate for strike 2. Dane Most at second following that double in left field. Will Anderson at third following a walk. I think Ashlock might have misplayed it and left just a little bit. The 0-2. Rabago takes strike 3. Third strikeout of the day for Blues pitching, and it's the first out of the 8th inning. An out that kind of clears your head as a pitcher if you're Zach Savino. Because you allow that walk and you allow that double, you get the K under your belt, you're feeling a little better about yourself. Here's Blake Cowens now. He also had a pair of singles in the early going, then walked, and then flew out to left field, just like Austin Rabago. First pitch to him misses low and outside, ball 1. Blues 5 hits on the day compared to Menlo's 13. Blues pitching also has thrown 3 strikeouts as well. 1-0. Here's a fastball, 2-seamer on the lower half for a strike. From the stretch, Savino delivers. Fastball missing low. A 2-1 count here to Blake Cowens. A 7-hole hitter for Menlo Park. James Bowes stands on deck, and we might have a pinch hitter, Emilio Feliciano, for Bowes. 2-1. Fastball right back in the netting for strike 2. And it looks like Feliciano's getting ready to go. Feliciano typically playing second base, but can play both of the middle infield spots. James Bowes is the shortstop. Savino on the 2-2. To the second baseman, Constantine, who goes over to first. Runner comes in to score, and the throw cannot be handled by Button at home plate. Will Anderson scores on the ground out from Blake Cowens.
Now up to bat, Emilio Feliciano.
And so it is a pinch hitter, Emilio Feliciano. James Bowes' day comes to an end. 2 for 4, an RBI single, drove in the first run of the afternoon for the Legends. Ended his day with a flyout to center field. So now it'll be Feliciano, the right-handed hitting middle infielder. First pitch missing outside, ball 1. So an RBI ground out from Blake Cowens. Makes it a 14-1 ball game and 2 outs in the 8th inning. Swing and a miss on a fastball outside for strike 1. Feliciano goes to College of San Mateo and has spent 2 seasons here with the Bulldogs and is currently uncommitted. San Mateo won the conference championship this past season, as this one's lined into the batting cage off to the right. Last season with the Bulldogs, a .302 batting average, a .367 on base, and a .336 slugging. .35 base hits, driving in 13 runs. 4 extra base hits, they're all doubles. He goes down chasing on the sweeper, and that will be strike 3 to Emilio Feliciano. So the Legends tack on another. It's 14-1 Menlo Park. Last chance for the Blues in the top half of the 9th on the SLO Blues streaming network. Comerford, Button, and Constantine. That's 7, 8, 9 due up for the Blues. Last call for San Luis Obispo. Top of the 9th inning. An away game at the College of San Mateo against the Menlo Park Legends. 14-1 deficit against Menlo. Comerford is first pitch singing and serves a base hit in the left field. Splits Most and Rabago and finds some real estate. First base hit of the day for Brendan Comerford. A leadoff single after an 0 for 3 day. Comerford gets on the right track. Here's Nico Button now. Some defensive replacements after Feliciano came in to hit for Bose. Feliciano at second base and Austin Rabago moved from second to shortstop. Nico Button takes a look at strike 1 from Max Babbage, who rolls on out there again for his second inning of work. He replaced Ray Hernandez, who had a great day on the mound. Button watches a slider for strike 2.
Out to bat, Nico Button.
Hernandez in 7 innings allowed 5 hits, just 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. That run came all the way back in the 3rd inning for the Blues, and it's just been goose eggs ever since. A sweeper outside, and Button held up his swing for ball 1. Gavin Constantine awaits on deck. He's hitless today, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, just like Brendan Comerford before his leadoff single. The 1-2. Button holds up his swing again on a sweeper outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Nico's certainly used to these chilly Bay Area nights, playing at Cal Berkeley these past 3 seasons. I'm feeling the Bay front water right about now. 2-2. Nico rolls inside on a fastball that almost hit him, fills it up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Brendan Comerford at first base following his leadoff single. Going to take a lot more than that for the Blues to come back in this game. Here's the payoff. Button, a slow roller to Most at third. He throws it over to first, barely in time. Nice hustle from Button to get to first base. Comerford advances to second on the ground out to the third baseman Most. So now here's Gavin Constantine, who rounded out to the third baseman the last time he was up. Gavin, a couple of Ks and a ground out today. Good effort at second base on a couple of plays. Got some good ups. I'm impressed by how high he was able to jump on some liners that went over his head, but just scraping over his glove. First pitch. Constantine watches a four-seamer high, 1-0. The 1-0. Constantine leaves another four-seamer high and outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Sun's starting to set here in the San Francisco Bay Area. You can see the lights on the eucalyptus trees as Constantine gets a nicely placed four-seamer on the outer half for strike 1. Those eucalyptus trees, a staple here in California. That's how you know you're on the Golden Coast. Those trees are everywhere. 2-1. Constantine leaves that one low and inside, 3 balls and a strike. And the reason eucalyptus trees are here in California, here's a fun fact. They're originally from Australia. That's their native land. And Australians sold eucalyptus wood to Californians to build the railroad system. 3-1. Constantine takes a slider, biting hard on the outer half for strike 2. Full count to Gavin Constantine. And Californians bought a ton of eucalyptus trees to build the railroads, and they bought seeds and they planted trees so they can build more railroads. They found out quickly that that wood is not meant to hold trains. Payoff pitch. Constantine chases the elevated fastball for strike 3. Third strikeout of the day for Gavin Constantine, and the Blues are down to their last out in the 9th inning.
Now to bat, Ethan Royal.
Eucalyptus wood, spongier, lighter, not meant to hold trains that weigh a couple of tons. They found that out quickly. So now the aftermath is all these eucalyptus trees. Comerford takes off to third base, and he's got the bag stolen. E.J. Royal, who got a base hit in the 7th, is 1 for 3. Walked in the 3rd and scored the only run of the afternoon for the Blues. 0-1. Sweeper missing way outside. Babbich's arm feeling it after that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cowens had to slide to his knee to get there. And after what we saw with the injury with Scott Bauman in Sonoma, I think everyone on the Blues side is a little cautious when they see a guy grimace on the mound. Pitch missing inside to Royal. 2 balls and a strike now. EJ rocking the mock neck. Love that look. Got the long sleeves and the neck going up halfway. Royal spoils a fastball up and out of play off to the right. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Six hits on the day for the Blues. Only able to collect 1 run. Compare that to the 13 Menlo has in their 14 runs. The 2-2. Royal puts it on the ground off to the right, and Feliciano dives, throws to first. It's not in time. RBI single for E.J. Royal. Brings in another run for the Blues.
Out to bat, Sam Ardoin.
So a 2-hit day for E.J. Royal. Comerford scores from third base. It's 14-2 Menlo Park. Here's Ardois, who had a single back in the first inning. A 1 for 3 day. Couple that with a walk and a stolen bag. Ardois' first pitch swinging hits a bouncing ball to the shortstop Rabago, who flips it over to second and gets the force out, and that will do it here from College of San Mateo. Final pitch at 7:43 p.m. A 2 hour and 40 minute game. A rather quick one for how much of a blow-up inning that happened in the middle frame there at San Mateo. The Blues lose it big against the Menlo Park Legends. They still got 3 more games left in this 4-game road trip. They go to San Francisco tomorrow to play against the Seagulls, and then they got a pair against the Walnut Creek Crawdads in the East Bay. But for now, it's a 14-2 loss against the Menlo Park Legends. We'll be back here on the Slow Blues Streaming Network tomorrow at 6:05 p.m. for first pitch against the San Francisco Seagulls. The pregame show will be at 5:50 p.m. Thanks for watching on the Slow Blues Streaming Network. My name is Nate Mills. The Blues fall 14-2 against the Menlo